Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern. My name is Dr. Ashaki Noni Nichols, and I will be your host. And I have been kind of out of the office, as they like to say, and I've been on the road. So sorry that I was not able to broadcast on Wednesday and Thursday, but I was actually in Washington, D.C. I went there to do like press for Black History Month. It didn't work out. Okay, let's just say it because you didn't see a broadcast. You didn't see anything because I didn't get in. But that's okay. That's totally fine because God had a plan. And I was like, okay, cool. So my contact was like, yeah, there's an event that I want to invite you to. Can you stay over? And I was like, okay, sure. God provided a place for me to lay my head. I was like, amen. Just the whole thing. I was like, all right, this is working out. This is working out. And so, with that, because I know I usually start off different every morning, but I wanted to share this with you guys before we get into our normal routine. But I was at an event yesterday and it was about voter integrity. Now, I wasn't a part of the presentation, but I did get to see people after they were done with their meeting. So I saw Roger Stone and he looked very dapper. That man, I mean, he had his suit, he had his trench coat, he had a matching hat. I was like, that's a G. It was so cute just to see him in person. And I saw Carrie Lake, Mark Fitchman, who I'd met before, and then the very special person that I wanted to meet. And I met a few other people. And I was actually interviewed by Kara Castronova on Lindell TV. So I'll make sure to find that clip where I'm interviewed and post it on my social media so you guys can see that. But the piece de resistance, because the one person I kept saying I wanted to meet was General Flint. I didn't know how I was going to meet him. I didn't know how I was going to see him. But you know what, y'all? I got a picture. I got a picture with General Flynn, and I got to meet him. And he is just, in my opinion, one of the sweetest people on the planet. I was just like, hey. He was like, hey. I was like, oh my gosh. And here's my kind of like, I'm not gonna cry because y'all know how I get. But he loves this country in spite of people working for this country trying to destroy his life and his family's life. And he's still fighting, right? He didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater and said, forget all y'all. I'm going to be somewhere on an island sipping Mai Tais because I ain't got time for this. He didn't do that. He's still in the battle. And I respect it. It's interesting too because, again, like I said, he could have walked away. But when God called him, he said, here am I, send me. And he's just doing the work. Like I told you guys about a week ago, he started a political action committee so he can help candidates run and just be there to bridge that gap for those wanting to get involved in the political process. Again, he doesn't have to do this, but he's doing this because he loves other people. Right? He's fighting for everybody, even if they don't like him. And that's what love looks like. Doing right in spite of how you feel. Right? Doing right by others in spite of how you feel. That's how you're able to really love people. So, just like I said, I just wanted to share that with you guys. And with that, as the start of our morning goes, let's get into our kids' corner.
12-year-old boy. Although his family was not wealthy, Austin dreamed of achieving something big in life. Many kids in the village teased Austin because he wasn't great at studies or sports, but Austin never let their words bring him down. Instead, he focused on his strength helping others. Whether it was carrying heavy buckets of water for an elderly man or teaching small children how to read, Austin was always there to lend a hand. A well-known businessman named Mr. Patel visited the village. His car broke down near Austin's house. While others hesitated to help, Austin quickly ran over. He not only helped fix the car, but also invited Mr. Patel to rest and have some water. Impressed by Austin's kindness, Mr. Patel asked, "What's your dream, young man?" Austin smiled and said, "I want to make my village proud." Mr. Patel saw potential in Austin and offered him a scholarship to study in the city. Austin worked hard, never forgetting the values he learned in his village. Years later, Austin returned as a young man, now a successful architect. He didn't just come with his achievements, he brought schools, clean water, and better roads for the villagers. Austin's story teaches us this: true status and prestige don't come from riches or fame, but from kindness, hard work, and helping others. Be like Austin, dream big, and uplift those around you along the way.
Yes, dream big, because that's what I did. And I got to meet somebody who I just really, really appreciate. It was kind of funny because I was geeking out when I saw some people. I was like, oh my gosh, you're so cool. Now, again, I did not get into the Black History Month event, but I did get to see a lot of people along the way in line that I really appreciate their efforts in this political climate that we're in, that they can still smile and still have pride in their country. Right? When people are calling them a coon, when people are telling them they're worthless for what they're doing, even though the same party demands your vote, they want to kick you in your teeth if you don't agree with them. They're weird. That's just weird. Y'all know it is. And you know what I'm saying is right. You may not want to admit it, but you know what I'm saying is not too far-fetched from the truth, right? And with that, let's get into honoring God with our body. God, please guard our mind and our thoughts. God, help me to fix my mind and thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. So I will think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. God, please help me listen to your voice. God, help me to protect my ears, God. God, help me to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. God, please protect my eyes from sin's damage. God, I make a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully. God, please guard my mouth and help my mouth to speak life. God, set a guard over my mouth. Lord, keep watch over the doors of my lips. God, please help my hands to serve generously. God, help me to do good to everyone, and especially to those who belong to our family in the faith. God, please protect my reproductive organs, and please help me to honor you with purity. God, help me to honor you with my body. And God, please protect my feet as I walk along your path. God, let your word be a lamp for my feet and a light on my path. And, definitely I was saying this prayer as I was, around the nation's capital, just being reminded, right, of what I needed to do and who I needed to be in that moment. God has such great plans for us. He really, really does. And I know there's a lot of things that we don't necessarily always see, right? Or think about or do. But I'm telling you, God's got a plan. And it look, between the Epstein files and things going on with ICE, the Democratic Party talking about how they're positioning themselves for retribution. It's not going to go well for you when we get back in power. Like, seriously, the threats, y'all. And okay, so I usually have a, kind of like my little run of show situation, but I got to play this one for you guys because I was a little taken aback. I was like, okay, the chutzpah. You got some chutzpah, ma'am. You know, but I'm glad people are showing us who they are right now. Please don't show me who you are right now, because how dare you? Has anybody been thrown in jail yet? from the Democratic Party who actually, you need to be in prison for some of the stuff that y'all have done. For real, for real. Not for fake, not for pretend, for what you've done to us. We all know you've committed treason. The only reason we haven't been able to get you on treason is because it needs to be corroborated by one or more people's, right? In your presence, basically. And you had to strictly say, this is what we're going to do to the American people. Because we don't have that type of evidence, that's the only reason we cannot go after you for treason. But what we can do is we can demand a new attorney general who's going to go after you for harboring these illegal aliens. Now, we're going to get into some, actual articles that talk about how people have lost their lives in the past couple of days because of the illegals here that were allowed to be here. And even though they had deportation orders, they did not leave. Oh, y'all gonna get up off the soil. Keep threatening us. Keep on threatening the people that love this country. This is not a red or blue issue. This is an American issue. Because I do not care what side of the aisle you on. If you support illegals being here, that's a problem. That's an issue. Congress, guess what? According to our Constitution, you can change immigration law. Why aren't you? Why are you allowing these states by fiat to just do whatever they want to with immigration? Like I'm always telling y'all, I want them all in prison. Okay, all y'all need to go to jail today. But I'm gonna calm down. All right. One of the things said my piece. But I want to share this with you. Now, this is, I want to say she is the former security person, Susan Rice. I want to say she worked in one of the intelligence agencies under the Obama administration. And so I came across this video. I'm going to make sure I got my little visuals right. But yeah, let's check out what she's got to say. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear. If you can't, please let me know in the chat.
But when it comes to the elites, the corporate interests, the law firms, the universities, the media, I agree with you, Preet. It is not. It's not going to end well for them. For those that decided that it was, that they would act in their perceived very narrow self-interest, which I would underscore is very short-term self-interest, and take a knee to Trump. I think they're now starting to realize, wait a minute, this is not popular. Trump is not popular. What he is doing, whether on the economy and affordability or on immigration now, is not popular, and that there is likely to be a swing in the other direction, and they are going to be caught with more than their pants down. They're going to be held accountable by those who come in opposition to Trump and win at the ballot box. And I can tell you, Preet, as I talk to leaders in Washington, leaders in our party, leaders in the states, if these corporations think that the Democrats, when they come back in power, are going to, play by the old rules, and say, oh, never mind, we'll forgive you for all the people you fired, all the policies and principles you violated, all, the laws you've skirted. I think they've got another thing coming because, just like when Trump thought, okay, I'll redistrict and the Democrats won't have the guts to play hardball.
Now, first of all, he does not have the ability to redistrict. The redistrict came around due to the voting pattern in Texas, by the way. So that means that people, like you said, I like to say people of color, Latino people voted for Trump en masse. Right? Black Americans voted for Trump en masse. Melanated people voted for Trump en masse. They voted for him in mass. This is not about Trump, because that man's going to be leaving. This is about the country. Stop it. You hate us because we don't want to be a socialist communist country. Say it. Just say it. We don't want to capitulate to this degeneracy you're trying to force on us and our children. We are tired of you raping the American taxpayer. He's standing in the way. That's why you keep bringing him up. He's standing in the way. Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she left because she might have got tired of being bounced around. Again, this is not an emotional thing. And we've got people, hundreds of them, in the House and the Senate playing emotional long-term games with our life. If y'all don't stop being emotional and do your job, do your job. Killing me. Just a mess. All right, let's let her finish.
They're going to be surprised. Democrats have had a belly full. And we're not going to play by, the old set of rules when these guys are playing by a very different set of rules. We're going to play by the law. We're not going to violate the law the way they do, but we're not going to be suckers. And so
Are you serious right now? We're not going to, you violated the law. You already showed us. Democrats. And you did violate the law. You did. You brought pornography into elementary schools. That's violating the law. You allowed pedophiles to be teachers. That's violating the law. You allowed illegals to come over here en masse, illegally, gave them protected status in violation of the Constitution. And you're talking about the law, Susan Rice? You're talking about the law. Okay. And Love from Australia, thank you so much for joining us here on Unfiltered Vision News. Sorry, I'm on one today because this needs to stop. But let me let her finish.
Think, whether you're a law firm, whether you're a university, whether you're a media entity, whether you're a big corporation, whether you're big tech, you need to play a long game, not this short game that has been so detrimental. There will be an accountability agenda. Companies already are starting to hear they better preserve their documents. They better be ready for subpoenas. If they've done something wrong, they'll be held accountable. And if they haven't broken the law, good for them. If they've done the right things, good for them. That also will be noted and remembered. But this is not going to be an instance of forgive and forget. The damage that these people are doing is too severe to the American people and to our national interest.
Okay. So you heard it. This is not going to be a thing of forgive and forget. I find it very fascinating how individuals like herself see.
But when it comes to the elites,
Sorry about that. I was trying to get out of this window. There we go. It is extremely harmful when you have individuals in position of leadership like her. Now, I know a lot of people out there might say, well, when the Republicans were trying to get back into office, they were threatening the Democrats, like, you guys are going to have to abide by the law. So it's the same conversation, but we have to look at what laws were violated, what laws are followed. The one thing, and I'm just talking about this one thing, you cannot ever tell anybody that you didn't do, right? You didn't follow the law when it came to immigration. You didn't. You allowed a completely open border. You allowed people to come over here to our country, and you gave them shelter, you gave them food, you gave them clothing, you gave them money in mass, and it's still being shut down. And you're talking about the Republican Party is at fault right now because of the policy they changed. Oh, because they took away your precious DEI, which was helping no one, by the way. And it wasn't helping the people that you say it was supposed to help. It wasn't helping anybody. It's a whole UN agenda. It's a whole thing. But the lawmakers in there right now, they just broken the law. No, they violated what you're saying. They violated our precious LGBTQ community. Yeah, that you bow down to less than 1% of the population. You're okay with mutilating children. You had a man in a dress. Can't make it up. Cannot make that up. Rachel telling children it was okay to mutilate themselves. Oh, I'm going to say it out loud. I'm going to say it all out loud. What? What were you thinking? And you're talking about this party, the Republican Party, breaking the law? Stop it. We are not unintelligent human beings. As far as I'm concerned, the Democratic Party, and I'm going to say this allegedly, you are terrorists. You terrorize this country. And now you got more people in office terrorizing this country. It's bad. It's bad. And there's still going to be another referendum on you. Trust me on that. Okay. So before we get to anything else, you know what? I am sorry. I know y'all are like, Dr. Nichols, it's Friday. Are you okay? Just watching the news and seeing things on the ground, and I'm passionate, right, about the information I give you guys. But the one thing I had wanted to remind us of, and this is something that I don't even know if the news even covered this, and this happened earlier in February, and I wanted to share it with you. It is a fact sheet. Donald Trump, he orders a plan for a United States sovereign wealth fund. He's trying to help people. And we have Susan Rice, former intelligence secretary, talking about how they're breaking the law. Show me. Please show me what laws have been violated. Because see, you're mad. You're mad because we're not breaking the law right now. Because evil is good right now for some people. Like that's how their thinking is going on. And we are just supposed to be that unintelligent. Stop that. So he's delivering a plan to create a United States sovereign wealth fund today, and this was back in February 3rd. President Donald J. Trump signed an executive order calling for the creation of a sovereign wealth fund. The executive order directs the Secretary of Treasury and the Secretary of Commerce to deliver a plan within 90 days for the creation of a sovereign wealth fund. The Secretary of the Treasury and the Secretary of Commerce will work closely with the Director of the Office of Management and Budget and the Assistant to the President for Economic Policy to develop the plan. The order directs the Secretary to include in the plan recommendations for funding mechanisms, investment strategies, fund structure, and a governance model, ensuring long-term economic competitiveness and fiscal sustainability. The creation of a sovereign wealth fund for the United States will help maximize the stewardship of our national wealth. Sovereign wealth funds exist around the world as mechanisms to amplify the financial return to a nation's assets and leverage those returns for strategic benefit and goals. The United States can leverage such returns to promote fiscal sustainability, lessen the burdens of tax on American families and small businesses, establish long-term economic security, and promote U.S. economic Strategic Leadership Internationally. All right. February 3rd. Let's see, March, April, May. All right. So by June 1st, Office of Management and Budget. Let's see, who else? Or we list up Treasury Secretary, Secretary of Commerce. There needs to be a plan because y'all 90 days. Get your jobs done. Do your work. Let's go. Let's go. You have been given the charge. Okay? I don't want to hear any excuses. This is what you are focusing on right now. Okay? Along with everything else that you've been tasked to do. But this one, you better have it done. I do not want to hear, oh, we got delayed. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You better get this done. You've been tasked to do it. Let's go. All right. I had to put that out there. Because some people, you just need to kind of get your job done. Okay. Now I'm gonna play a video for you guys. So, of course, Nick Shirley, the baby. He is outside, y'all. People see him coming and they're like, you need to go away. Because they already know. He shows up in your state. Oh, Lord. Everybody's going to be here. Everybody's going to know what we're doing. So, yeah, it's going on.
Illegal to vote if you're not a citizen.
Why not just say if you cheat and steal and you're illegally voting, you go to jail? Oh my goodness, what a concept.
That's already the law.
Right.
Go ahead,
That's a jaw-dropping number. Where did all those people come from?
Well, it made my jaw drop too when I saw it. We were in Social Security looking for fraud, waste, and abuse. And to do that, we actually looked at the enumeration system, the system by which people get numbers in America. And we found that there were just about 5+ million of them that came to the country as illegals. We're giving very...
Now, I have to pause this really quick because you just heard Susan Rice talking about they were violating. Illegals were here and they found them. You guys didn't want us to find it. You weren't pointing this out. You were letting people come over here en masse. Susan Rice, please spare me. If anybody should be in prison, it should be you. We were not going to dig into your dirt right now. Because you got some. You got a lot of it. You have a lot. So I suggest you calm down.
Various forms of parole are allowed in the country. And they got through an automatic system, Social Security numbers, so they get into our benefit systems. And we tracked that through and found that they were on the benefit programs. And just because we were curious, we then looked to see if they were on the voter rolls. And we found in a handful of cooperative states that there were thousands of them on the voter rolls and that many of them had voted.
It's already illegal to vote if you're not a citizen.
Why not just say if you cheat and steal?
It's already illegal. Okay. Right? Since it's already illegal, Abby, Phillips, it's illegal to break into somebody's home, right? So why even put a door up? Why not just leave your door wide open? How about you leave the windows wide open too? Because it's illegal, So of course nobody's going to do it. You shouldn't put up any safeguards at all whatsoever to ensure that nobody breaks into your home, right? Because it's illegal, of course, Abby. It's illegal. Same thing with your car. It's illegal to steal somebody's car, so just leave your keys and your door wide open. Like, don't even shut the door, just leave it open. What's the point? It's illegal. It's already illegal. No need to take any extra steps to make sure that it doesn't happen. Their argument is so silly, man. So silly. But I want to talk about this a little bit more because what's going on is quite interesting. And it seems like Nick Shirley, big shout out to Nick Shirley, has uncovered something quite interesting. And we're going to hop into it. I have another clip as well from, I believe it's McCracker. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. But anyway, before we get into that, I do want to play this clip from a Michigan House committee meeting where a gentleman is describing exactly what we've been talking about and what Democrats have been saying never happens. Check it out.
These was absentee voters. We obtained a list of people that they had sent ballots to, that the ballots returned but still voted. So that raised our suspicions. So what we did was we obtained this list, and what we found out is that it was no way people was voting absentee because they never sent ballots or applications to the overseas address for them to return it. They actually listed that they sent the actual ballots to the Detroit addresses versus the overseas address, but a ballot was still cast, and they not. It's no way they cast a ballot for a person in Germany when they sent the ballot to the west side on 7 Mile. There's no way that person voted from Germany. And it's right here. You can see Mary Elaine Beckman. She was voting out of a house that was full of immigrants. They couldn't even speak no English when we went to the house. No lie. They couldn't even talk to us in English. They was all living in this house. They didn't know no Mary Elaine Beckman. Now, we do understand that you do not have to live at that residence when you move overseas. The current residents do not have to know you. We understand all that. But the law also say that that must be your last address when you moved overseas. That wasn't her last address, and you must get the ballot sent to you overseas. There's no way you can vote when the ballot came to you in Detroit.
So basically what he was describing there was an absentee ballot situation where individuals were overseas, but the ballot was sent to an address in Detroit. And that ballot was cast from that Detroit address, but the person was overseas. So how did they vote when they were overseas and the ballot got sent to Detroit? That person did not vote. On paper, they voted, but in real life, they didn't actually vote. They didn't fill out that ballot. Somebody else did. And, you know, with all of this going on, it's quite crazy when you really think about it because with all of this happening and going on, so we still won, which says a lot.
Okay. And I also want to just clarify, there are two rules of thought. When you are absentee, to the gentleman that was speaking, his point was it should have come through an overseas postmark, then to Michigan. What he was stating was it originated in Michigan, saying that it was from overseas. What Doc Rich is saying it was like a little bit of the reverse. It was like, wait a minute. But at the end of the day, it's still fraud, right? If you say that you're casting an absentee ballot from overseas and it's not originating from Germany, where it was supposed to originate from. It was supposed to come from Germany to Michigan. It came from Michigan to Michigan, but stating it was an absentee ballot from Germany. It's very confusing. We're going to get there. But yeah.
Says a whole lot. If Democrats can't win, even though they cheat, that tells you everything you need to know. That tells you everything you need to know. That tells you how much propaganda we are under. When you got, Trump bad, Trump terrible, Republicans terrible. Oh my goodness, Republicans are going to lose the midterms, blah, 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 which we were all getting before this past election, mind you. And then you have this type of stuff going on, and we still won. Mainstream media being in the back pocket, and we still won. Just saying, don't be discouraged by what I'm about to show you. Be encouraged. Because even with all of this, once again, it's not Kamala Harris that's sitting in that White House. It's Uncle Trump. Let's take a view of Nick Shirley's video, a little bit of it. Check it out.
We're just looking for these individuals as they're registered to vote here. It's John Thomas and Philip Thomas. Is Gloria here by chance? Because she's 100 years old and she voted last election from here.
Can you see my? I said I want.
I just want to make sure you're not 126 years old.
No, I'm not.
And do you think it's possible like illegal migrants could be voting?
Do you know where the ballots might have gone? like for 108 people, that were registered here.
When it comes to fraud, most people think about money. However, there's another potential massive fraud story taking place in America, one tied to the most consequential system in our country, which is our voting system. This has to do with everything about who runs the country and how elections are actually controlled. And if we don't have voter integrity, what even are we? And there's one state that is the breeding ground for potential voting fraud, and that is California, where it can take up to 1 month to count all of the votes, no voter ID, and millions of ballots are cast by mail. And with voter rolls that are extremely vulnerable to errors, such as over 200 people who are over the age of 125 years old registered to vote in certain areas, and now to see how easy it is to vote.
Wait a minute. How you dead and you registering to vote? Come on now. Wait. Stop. I had to stop that for a second. You're dead. But you registered to vote. Okay.
I headed to the location to register to vote inside the state of California.
First off, we need voter ID. Second, voting should be a one-day thing.
Period.
If you can't finish your count within 24 hours,
that's a problem.
It won't count.
Period.
It shouldn't count. Or whatever you've counted to that point. Nah, because then they would just count all Democrat votes. I was going to say, whatever you've counted up to that 24-hour mark, that's all you get to count. But then what would happen is Democrat states would only count Democrat votes up until that 24-hour mark, and they'd be like, well, we never got to the Republicans, sorry, kind of thing.
Because they trifling. Because they trifling.
Or at least what they thought would have been Republican votes. And they'll figure out a way to do stuff like that, like they did in California, where they had and I showed you guys the video clip where the envelope that you would stick your ballot in, it like had like a cutout to where they could see kind of what you voted for. Goodness
and they
gracious,
would toss
man.
it.
These folks with all of this,
they would toss the votes.
Man,
if it wasn't
what
they wanted.
Dirty scoundrels, man.
Now this is the register of voters right here. And I want to ask him, why don't you need voter ID to vote here inside of California? I was curious, how come in California you don't need voter ID to vote?
Because when you sign your affidavit, you're swearing that you're telling us the truth, and we compare the signature that you put on your application to the
battery 65%.
Do you think it leaves any room for error with voter ID, or? Yeah, I'm just like curious because I want to make sure that like our elections are as fair and honest as possible, and I feel like voter ID is just something super simple to have. And do you think it's possible like illegal migrants could be voting?
Not really. How? I mean, what's showing their ID?
Yeah, if they don't have their ID and they could just sign on behalf of Richard Sherman, then they could technically vote, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but what?
Yeah. Wow, shocker.
You see what I mean? You literally can't make this stuff up. Yeah, but then they would be lying. As if nobody lies. What a new concept, guys. People actually lie. My goodness. It's almost as if she just discovered that people actually lie. Goodness gracious.
But they just don't care.
Hey, Uncle Coldwater, good morning to you. You're asking, do you have the clip of Obama showing his ID when he voted? No, but I do remember the clip that you're talking about. Because, they usually show like the presidents when they show up to vote, and it's a big deal. It's, it's one of those things. It's a photo op. Let's just be clear. It's photo op. But I do remember what you're talking about. And he had to bring out his ID. He goes, oh, sure, here's my ID. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing. Like, but I do have a video of Chuck Schumer, so I'm going to get to that one in a moment.
What if like Richard Sherman and Billy Bob Joe just don't care? But so you don't think illegals would ever vote, would you?
I don't think so.
No. So instead of showing your ID, you...
Look, I just want to let people know in the 2024 election, before the election, I got a voter registration card from California with my Georgia address on it, asking me if I was going to be voting in the California election. I've lived in Georgia for the second time since 2017, right? Came here, did all my stuff, registered to vote under Georgia because I moved from California. Have all my paperwork in order to vote here in Georgia. Okay? Georgia. Why was California sending me a registration voter card to vote in the California elections? And I live in Georgia, and you put my current Georgia address on it. Yeah, that's happening. It's disgusting. I'm just saying.
Sign your signature and then it is scanned to verify it is you. So technically speaking, anyone could show up saying they are someone, and if the signature is similar, that vote will then count. And with millions of people voting, it leaves room for fraud to occur. Just take these two examples.
A Southern California woman is facing 5 felonies after registering her dog to vote in 2 elections. The dog's vote was even counted in one of those elections. Those behind the stunt say she did it to show the flaws of the current system.
Golly.
Your dog is voting. The dog voted, y'all.
It's funny, but it's not funny at the same time. Like, this is a super serious situation, but bro, she registered her dog and voted. And it actually counted. And they tell us, the Democrats tell us, no fraud is going on. No fraud is going on. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. When somebody can register a dog and vote and it actually count in an election, yeah, there's a major problem there. Major problem. Major problem. Like, what? All right. Now, I want to show you guys this other clip from a gentleman, like I said, by the name of Muckracker. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Or actually, this is from muckracker.com, I guess. I don't even know who this guy is. Who is this guy? I don't know. If anybody knows who this gentleman is, let me know in the comments. But it's from, I just randomly, okay, so it's from this account here. I'm going to throw it up on the screen.
Yep, that's Muckracker.
There you go. It's from this account. Now, I want to show y'all this, man. Y'all have to see this because he goes in and attempts to register to vote as a Canadian citizen, and take a listen to what happens.
It seemed like before you were about to accept my voter registration form, even though I told you I was a green card holder.
I'm just a green card holder. Like, so you're not going to report me if I do this, because
No. We accept anything that comes over the counter. You know, we have people who come in here and they have legal situations and they register, they weren't a citizen, boom, 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 so.
How often do things like that happen? Right now, I'm in front of 200 Varick Street in New York City, New York, and inside this building on the 10th floor is an office of the New York City Board of Elections. Now, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to pose as a non-citizen Canadian green card holder.
I'm a green card holder from Canada.
And I'm just going to see how far I can get in the voter registration process. So, let's see what happens.
So I talked to a gentleman before and he said he could help me with registering to vote. It's my first time. So what do I have to show you guys?
Everything you fill out, you swear in an affidavit that everything you're putting down is true, and that's it. Can I have a seat, fill it out?
Oh, got it, okay. I'm a green card holder from Canada.
Okay, yeah, you gotta be a citizen. I wouldn't fill it out.
You wouldn't fill it out?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be a citizen to fill it out.
Notice that he doesn't tell me it would be illegal to complete the application as a non-citizen, only that he doesn't recommend it. From here, things get even more concerning.
The reason why somebody told me that they were a green card holder and that they came in and then they submitted and they were good.
We can't stop you from submitting the application, and if it goes through, but most likely, because they don't do like a full background check, but once in a while, you know, we have people who come in here and they have legal situations and they register, they weren't a citizen, boom, 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 so.
This is a direct admission that non-citizens are in fact registering to vote, something that many claim is a conspiracy theory.
All right, here's the deal. To be honest with you, I'm really against everything that's going on right now, and I'm trying to do my part. So, like, Do you mind if I fill this out, or like, is it okay with you?
It's up to you. That's like, I can't tell you what to do. If you want to fill it out. But everything is clearly stated, especially at this bottom. It says American citizens. So I'm just letting you know. If you fill that out and you're not, if it comes back to you, it comes back to you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But we accept anything that comes over the counter.
But you're not going to report me or something like that?
No, I'm not. No, we don't report anyone. Whoever fills that application out comes to us.
But I'm just a green card holder. Like, I don't want to get. So you're not going to report me if I do this?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. That's not my job to report anyone. My job is just to collect the application.
And what this gentleman is trying to explain is he's just a part of the administrative process. He's not a part of the background check process, right? So he is not attesting and affirming anything, okay? Anybody could show up in there and fill out an application. It's not his job, the person at the counter, to determine validity, right? It's not his job to determine if the application is legal or not. That's what that person at the counter is saying. But it's a bad look at the same time, because the person at the counter should say, if you are a green card holder, you cannot fill this out, because that's the law, right? There should be a gatekeeper, and he's not gatekeeping. Okay.
Application and put it and submit it to the department.
Under New York election law, Section 17106, any election officer who willfully violates any provision of the election law relative to the registration of electors is guilty of a felony. It would be a criminal offense for this worker to process my voter registration after I admitted to being a non-citizen.
Can I take this with me? Is that okay?
Yeah, take one of these. Yeah, you take that, or take another. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But just to be clear, if I do this, you will be able to submit it for me, not a problem.
Yeah, we'll submit it. That's, because we can do our background check on you. We just collect it, this and that, and that's it.
Okay.
I mean, we're going off your word. I mean, if you check off.
And Uncle Coolwater says, seems to me that we should go become the people and get the job right that this guy has. Exactly. So that we can then turn those papers in with the address of the person to ICE. I love it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Look, I've already said, give all of these people here illegally driver's license or IT cards. Not that I advocate for it, but once you do, you can cross-reference them and do a conflict search. And you can find everybody here that shouldn't be here and pick them up. Book it, Daniel. But see, to another level, ICE should only show up when they need to pick up people, right? My mode going forward is this. You give these mayors and you give these governors so many days. I would give them 30 days. Here's my list of people that are in your state currently. You have 30 days to pick them up. If you do not pick them up, you're going to federal prison. No, I'm putting it on you. You're going to jail. You're losing your life and everything around it if you don't do what's right. Okay? Because people are dying, and we're going to get to that. I'm going to play a little bit more of this video, and then we're going to get into some more of this news. Oops. And I removed it from the stage.
You citizen or not. You just check yes or you check no. We get registrations come to the mail. Whatever comes through, we accept, and then it's submitted.
We walked out of the office and ultimately didn't submit any application, as doing so would be illegal.
Oh, man. Yeah. Safe and secure elections, huh? Safe and secure. And once again, mind you, with all of this going on, we still won. We still won in 2024. With all of that going on, with Democrats doing all of that, with the propagandist media, Democrats, conspiring with them to brainwash the masses, and these types of operations going on, we still won. Now, just imagine if they weren't able to do this. Just imagine if, this was shut down. Just imagine if their money pot was closed off, USAID, Act Blue. Just imagine what things could actually look like. Just saying.
Yeah, and he's not wrong, right? He really isn't. Okay, and like what I said, we're going to get into a little bit more of this news, and I want to, start because I've done some things in folders. Now, this is an article that I'm going to pull up momentarily, but apparently there was a lady. She lost her life. Okay, and here's the deal: the ICE did a stop on somebody that was here illegally, and not just here illegally, they already had deportation orders of removal. That person decided to flee. When they fled ICE, they crashed into the woman's car, and ICE is being blamed for it. ICE is being blamed for this? Okay, so if we're going to do that, then we're going to have to go back and blame the person who got him here in the first place. Who allowed that? That was the previous administration. This person was here illegally. They weren't supposed to be here in the state of Georgia. I live here. And you know what? I know senators and I know representatives. Oh, it's about to be a whole mass of illegals getting off of this soil. You're not going to be here. You're not going to be here. As long as I got life and breath in me, oh, it's on. It's on. Because that's what's happening. So let's check this out.
And the reason why she has not gone viral like Renee Good and Alex Petty is because she obviously do not fit the narrative of the left. Let's be honest. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, Linda Davis is an educator that lives in Savannah or lived in Savannah, Georgia. She was on her way to work when Oscar Vasquez was pulled over by ICE. They were talking to him. Things obviously did not go his way. At this point, he felt as though he needed to flee. When he fled from them, he made an illegal U-turn, wound up crashing into her, which wound up ending up in her no longer being here. Okay, let me just say this. Y'all can hate Trump all y'all want to, which is really what this is all about. But the reality of this is all of this is Biden's mess, okay? Biden allowed these people to come into this country, and now this is the bullcrap that we have to deal with. That woman would still be here if that man was not here. That woman would still be here if he just abided by the law and did what they wanted him to do. Let's be clear. He did not have a license, so he was not even supposed to be driving. In addition to that, he was an illegal immigrant and did not even belong in this country. But y'all can say what y'all want, but let's be honest. That woman would still be here if it was not for him. Rest in peace, Linda Davis. My condolences go out to her family. This is a mess at this point.
And she's not wrong. She is completely not wrong on that. Okay. Now I've got another video to share with you guys of the news footage or news coverage, I should say, of this same incident.
Been tracking here in the DMV. Georgia community members are outraged. Excuse me, we're going to actually move here. Georgia community members are outraged after a Savannah teacher was killed when a driver fled federal immigration officers. He ran a red light and struck her vehicle. ABC News immigration reporter Armando Garcia has his story.
Yeah, Alex, police in Savannah say that 38-year-old Oscar Vasquez Lopez was attempting to flee federal immigration agents when he struck and killed public school teacher Dr. Linda Davis. DHS says that as agents were trying to pull him over, he made a U-turn, ran a red light, and collided with her vehicle. They say he was in the country illegally and had a pending order of removal. Now he's facing several charges, including felony first-degree vehicular homicide. The school saying that this crash happened right outside of campus. Mourners and protesters alike have gathered to demand answers about why this happened. ABC affiliate WJCL has been speaking with friends and family who knew her. They describe her as a dedicated public school teacher, a special education teacher with $1 million smile.
Okay, let me give you the long and short of why this happened. This happened because whoever the officers are and the mayor of Savannah, they didn't call ICE to say, hey, we have somebody with deportation orders. You need to get him. They allowed that person to be in their community because that person felt comfortable enough to drive around in that community. He had deportation orders. He should not have been driving anywhere. And he should have been sequestered and had ICE say, hey, we've got this person. They're here illegally. Pick them up. Yeah, let's talk about Savannah being a Democratic stronghold. It is not a Republican stronghold, okay? Just because we have state and House, you know what I'm saying? We have our House representatives and our Senate representatives might be majority Republican at the state level. At the local level, it's democratically run. Most of these cities in these states, they're not going to call ICE on these people. It's interesting because illegal immigration in your state, you would think it's a federal issue, and it is to have the feds come in and get these people, but it's a local issue. If your mayor is harboring illegal aliens, even against your will, as a constituent, as a resident, your rights are being violated by this mayor, by the policies. It is a violation of federal law that they're violating, and they don't care because there's been no consequences. All right? Enough. We are praying for Linda Davis's family because she should be here. The Lincoln Riley Act was put in place so illegal aliens would not be able to harbor themselves anywhere, and they still are, which means we're going to have to comb through everybody here. Like I said, I know representatives and senators. I'm working with some of them. Oh, we're going to find y'all. It's on. If you don't leave, I'm telling you now, leave Georgia. Because I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you are up off the soil today. We're not going to have any more of these incidents of people who don't have driver's license, have orders of deportation. They're like, they're pending orders. No, there's no pending. You have orders to leave. Leave. You shouldn't be here. Leave. And that doesn't mean go to another state. That means go back to your home country. Enough. We deserve better. And we're going to have it. And these Democrats running around threatening, well, this and that. You have no policy. All you have is I hate Trump. You have no policy. What are you going to do? Huh? Because you stopped fighting for us a long time ago. And when I mean us, I'm just talking about the American people. You stopped fighting for us. What's your campaign ploy? Okay, illegals, we brought you guys all over here. You need to vote for us. But wait a minute, you said illegals can't vote in elections. Like what? Because that's your voter block. Those people and I'm saying those people, you know why I'm saying those people? Because, those individuals are here illegally. That's why I'm saying those people. And I'm being nice because everybody's like, call them illegals. Call them undocumented. Because they are. It is what it is. It is what it is. But what it's not going to be is you continue to do this with impunity as if you can. That's what you're not going to do. That's what you're not going to do. You're going to leave here. And we are no longer going to tolerate you. And when I say every mayor in the state of Georgia, you have been put on notice today. Because see, if I find out that you're harboring illegal aliens, oh yeah, I'm recommending you to go to federal prison for harboring illegal aliens, violation of Title 8, Section 1324. And if you try to impede ICE, violation of Title 18, Section 111. Oh, you about to get up out of here. All of you. Leave now or go to prison. Because I'm also going to recommend that you be sent to El Salvador prison. So you better go back to your home country. I'm just saying. We do not have to put up with this. We do not have to put up with this. We have so much power as the American people. We have not unleashed it yet. But I'm telling you right now, It's on. It's on. That's all I can say. And with that, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into some more of this news going on because, things are happening so fast. And we definitely want to make sure that we stay prayerful. That's why we have our Prayer with Fridays, so we can pray Thanksgiving and cover going into the weekend. And so with that, we'll see you on the other side.
A life empowered is closer than you think. We're all looking for a better way. Reimagine what's next with a new sense of exuberance. Why not power on like you mean it? Or power off blissfully? A better sleep is a better awake. You've never moved like this before. With the energy nature intended. Imagine reprogramming the way you look at the speed of science. At longevity. At exhilaration. It's next level rejuvenation. Take your well-being from the inside out and outside in. The light within is ready to ignite. Be the light. LifeWave.
And we are back. Thank you so much for joining me here on Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern. My name is Dr. Ashaki Noni Nichols, and I will be your host. Let me make sure I get to this next video. I got to pause stuff because if I don't, it will just keep going. It will keep going. It will keep going. So I just wanted to share some posts with you guys. So this is a post from Terrence Williams. I actually got a chance to meet him while I was while I was in line, right, for the Black History Month event. Like I said, I didn't get inside, but I did get to meet some people. And so he posted, police officers are about to lose their jobs for calling federal immigration agents during traffic stops. So the police officers are like, hey, we've got an illegal immigrant. Okay, so they call ICE. Okay. All right. This person has deportation orders. All right. They're going to lose their job for doing the right thing. Okay. And see, here's where the chief of police right here, he should be going to federal prison because this is harboring. And you're interfering. Sorry. So in Detroit, the police chief announced plans to fire a police officer and a sergeant after they contacted federal immigration authorities during separate routine stops. They're just doing their job. They're overdoing their job because they're supposed to call. They're supposed to call. They have people in their custody, technically, who have violated federal immigration law. They are doing the right thing, but they're going to be fired. You know what? I hate to say fire them because then they'll just apply to work for ICE and ICE will hire them. And if they are local police, they may know where most of the illegal immigrants are and can pick them up. Y'all wild. Y'all are wild. I'm just saying. Yeah, and this is another incident that happened. So Eric Daugherty, he did this post. Holy crap. A third world immigrant showed up to the door of a UK woman at 2 a.m. and just kept staring at her. So this isn't like a Babylon Bee weird thing. He literally came to her house. He's been stalking her. Police took him to a hospital instead of jail, and he got released. If he comes again, the police say, just call us. Huh? So she's a prisoner in her home because somebody who's, and we don't know what his mental state is, because you're not mental. You're a predator. You're a criminal because you want to violate the woman on the other side of the door. You just can't get in her house, but she can't leave her home. I want to call it kidnapping. I'm just saying, she can't leave. Because if she leaves and she gets hurt, and if she calls the police, it'll be her fault. Oh, you guys didn't know that that's what they're doing in the UK? Oh, yeah, that's what they're doing in the UK, you guys. Insane, absolutely insane. We will get into this one tomorrow, but I got to get on to some more of this news because I'm losing daylight. I know I'm into it. That's what I get for being gone for 2 days. And that's what I get. Now, we want to get into some of these school protests because I'm going to try to find it. But yeah, there was a student struck by a car. And this happened 20 hours ago. So Florida governor told them not to do it. Florida has no protester in the road law. So DeSantis warned the schools to cut I'm not going to say that word. And I bet parents are very upset. Okay. So a student was struck by a car during anti-ICE walkout at Palm Beach Lakes Community High School in West Palm Beach, Florida. Yeah. You're not protecting these babies. You want these babies to get hurt so you can say, see, it's their fault. It's their fault. Stop that. Stop it. Stop it. Now, this is outside of the protest. I'm going to let you guys hear this from Alex Jones. Let me pause it and bring it back. Why can't I bring it back? Let me see. Bear with me, you guys, because I got to give it a second. Okay. So as you saw that picture, because I want to make sure that you can see it. And a lot of times when you send things with the video, but we'll go back and look at the picture. But let's listen to this. Let's see, this segue from Alex Jones.
So this afternoon, a bunch of news articles broke at the top of X that a public school in Rhode Island had the elementary students paint a painting of Moloch that on record, not just the Bible, but according to archaeological record, all these different tribes of the Middle East sacrificed children to. And they directed the children to paint this. Now, Les Wexner, the big controller of Epstein, the big Mossad CIA officer, it's come out in these emails. He says, I am possessed by this particular demon. I do what the demon says. Then we found news articles where he said, oh, I do these horrible things. The demon controls me. I mean, it's just crazy. And then Epstein calls himself Baal, which is another name for Satan, another demon they sacrifice children to. So this is all coming out, folks. It's absolutely horrific. This is their cult. This is what they're into. Just like the poison shots killing everybody, or the 5G or the GMO. They believe hurting people is a gift to their God. So you and I aren't like this, but they are. You have to realize evil exists. They say the devil's greatest trick is he doesn't exist. I say it's the second biggest trick. His biggest one is that good doesn't exist, that we can't resist it. So I'll post some of these images here with the video and the news article under it. But that's who we're up against, folks. These are people that are into being evil. And their big victory is that we have a blind side. We have a blind spot to all of this. It's time to wake up and admit it all, okay? I've been vindicated. I've been exposed to this 32 years. I told you the bottom of the rabbit hole is Satanism. It is. And that's who these people are. They get off on it. It's real. Satan is real. But God is real as well. Follow me on X right here, Roll On Shows. We'll continue to cover it all. But history is happening now. And we're totally vindicated. And just pray for God, for the armor of God. Pray for the Holy Spirit. I'm going to find out most churches, they're controlled. Even Joe Rogan's a Christian now. Woke up because of all this. That's where you're going to find the Spirit of God. Even the preacher may be corrupt in a good church. the people there for the right reason, you'll pick up on the spirit. It's amazing. Joe said, if there was a pill that made people as nice as they are at church, I'd take it. Let's call the Holy Spirit. And it's the only thing that's going to save us from this, folks. God is there to lead, guide, and direct us. We have to pray for that. We have to pray for it right now. And pray for the children, pray for the innocent, because the devil's coming for our children. Public schools training kids to worship Moloch, the god of child sacrifice. As the Old Testament says, give not your children to the fires of Moloch. This is real, folks. Look it up.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me close that. And here are some of the images. Okay. So this is, I want to say, like a standard image. So this is what Moloch looks like, right? But this is what the assignment was given to children to replicate. So when I'm talking about these protests, and when I'm talking about these people that call themselves teachers and instructors, they're indoctrinators. How many assignments have your children been given to write a picture of Jesus and the disciples? Or during Christmas time, do the Jesus's birth? Are kids encouraged to draw those pictures? No, because people would lose it and be like, you can't bring religion in here. And so everybody agreed, we're not going to bring religion in here. We're going to take prayer out of the schools. We're going to do all this stuff. And like I'm saying, I would encourage staff, not in the presence of others. They got a prayer closet, pray in the prayer closet, right? Because at least you're praying for your students. But they don't even want them to do that. So somebody's got to rule and reign. And right now it's evil. This demon sacrifices children. Our children are being sacrificed right now. Not only in this way, but these ICE protests. You just saw one of them get hurt. They're waiting for that. That's chum in the water. They're waiting for it. Here's another one. North Carolina school faces calls to be defunded after 200 plus students stormed out of class into a busy intersection to protest ICE. Why are these babies protesting ICE when they don't even know what's going on? They don't even understand, because I'd be like, so what does the federal law say about what's going on? They couldn't tell me, because that's not what they're teaching them. They're teaching them to be rabid disruptors. Rabid disruptors. Okay, so when you're a rabid, you have no intellectual being. None. You're just running around off of pure emotion and adrenaline with no knowledge of why you were doing what you were doing. This is sacrificing our children to Moloch. This is what it also looks like. I'm just saying. There's the worship of throwing them into the fire, killing them, beheading them, drinking their blood, eating their flesh. Okay? Those are forms of sacrifice, but this is another form, because you are turning them over to evil without any knowledge. They have no idea why they're out there. Where are the teachers? Or are they just blending in with them? I already showed you guys that one. But yeah, this is definitely a crime. It's really, really crazy what's going on. Now we're going to transition, and we're going to talk about what's going on with Mr. Mandani and his whole situation. So, people been, crashing out, because he was like, we're going to tax the rich, and we're going to have a free bus, and we're going to just do all of the free things. You get a car, you get a car. No. But that's how he got in. I'm just saying, that's how he got in. Free, free, free. And everybody followed the lie. So now we're here. So apparently, he's saying Zohran Mamdani needs to raise property taxes on New York City residents. Here's what's included in his new $127 billion, not $2 billion, $127 billion spending proposal. Here's some of the line items. Okay, $5.6 million for the Office of Racial Equality, $4.6 million for Commission on Racial Equity. I'm sorry, I said the first one, I said it wrong. It's equity, not equality. So $5.6 million for the Office of Racial Equity, $4.6 million for Commission on Racial Equity. What? Let's keep going. $835,000 for Commission on Gender Equity, $260,000 for Department of Education Diversity Officer, $301,000 for 3 FDNY Civilian Chief Diversity Inclusion Officers. This is DEI on steroids. And he can do it because it's not a school. He's actually playing with taxpayer money. He's playing in y'all's face, taking your pensions for this, raising your property taxes for DEI. But you voted for this. Everybody warned you and told you. All this is DEI stuff. All it is. $118,000 for FDNY Chief Diversity Inclusion Officer. What? So you have officers, and then you have a chief. You don't care. You don't care about the American people. You care about yourself. This is crazy. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane, you guys. Let me open this a little bit more. Yeah, this is the warmth of collectivism. Let me take all of your money and distribute it to all of my friends. And do nothing about the feces on the sidewalk. Do nothing about the 19 people that died in the snow on your watch, Mayor Mondani. Oh, we're not going to talk about that. But hey, let's add insult to injury and let's just take all of your money and rape your pensions, right? Because that's what we're doing. Okay. So Latina Brown, and I do know Latina, shout out to her. So she's saying DSA, CARE, and the Muslim Brotherhood are preparing Zoran Mondani to run for governor in 4 years. The goal is to take over the entire NYS in 5 years' time. Republicans in Congress have the power to reenact the Communist Control Act of 1954 and designate the group as a terrorist supporting organization. Period. If you don't get these crazy people up off the soil right now. All right, let's see what she's got to say.
And another thing, the DSA, along with CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood, they are propping Mayor Zoran Mondani in the next 4 years to run for governor. You think they're stupid? They already have a plan in place. They're going to run people for U.S. Senate. They're going to run people for Congress. They're going to run people for Assembly. They're going to run for people for the local state Senate seats. They're putting all foreigners in position to run for office. But you better believe Mondani is being propped up by the establishment to run for governor of New York. And that in itself is going to, New York is already collapsing, but New Yorkers, born New Yorkers, you will no longer have a place in your own state or city. Your families will no longer have a place. You will no longer have a voice. You won't be able to own nothing. You won't be able to, start a business. You won't be able to become a homeowner. You will be silenced. You will no longer be the majority. I'm telling you that right now. They are not here to assimilate. This is them showing that they are going to conquer. And it's either you convert to Islam, or you get run over. Figure of speech, by the way. So this is bigger than what it is. And there's a lot of powerful people involved propping this guy up, Mondani. He is a plant. And the industry is involved too. They're involved. This guy came out of nowhere, out of thin air, same thing like AOC. And they're propping her up to run for president. Can you imagine that? Really think about the consequences. Look at socialism is already destroying New York City. New York City looks like a dump. a dump and be prepared for chaos and mayhem because he's cutting 5,000 NYPD officers from the agency. God help us all. God help us all. Socialism is destruction. And they need to educate young people in the schools and universities about the dangers of socialism because it will hurt young people. Yeah. And I know you guys have voters' remorse. Gen Z, you've been played. Next time, do not speak for the Black community. Black community, you need to fight for yourselves. Fight for your communities. Fight for your city.
Thank you, Latina. She is one of my favorites. Absolutely. Now, she also posted this. She says, they are doing this on purpose to show that NYC is conquered. Wake up, people. So this is Times Square being fully blocked by Muslims praying. Do you see this? This happened in Europe, in particular, France, Germany, and the UK, and Ireland. This is what's going on in their countries. And now it's here. Everybody was like, oh, that'll never happen here in the United States. Well, you know what? Here we are. That's Times Square, people. Our Times Square. Y'all don't shut this down. They do not align with us. Muslims that practice Sharia law and that are jihadists do not align with us. There are Muslims that practice a peaceful form of Islam. That is what Malcolm came across after he went to Mecca. There is a peaceful form of Islam, not the jihadist form that practices Sharia law. That's what this is. This taking over. But let's see it. And the call to prayer. Yeah. All military-aged men and older. If y'all don't shut this down. I'm just saying. This is not good. And this is about the same thing she's saying, but I wanted to get to this one. So In Wokeness posted this. It says, leave our taxes alone. New York Democrats are not happy with the new plan by Mayor Mamdani to raise taxes on the middle class. Oh, you're not happy now. You're not happy now. You're probably the same people that were like, Trump is racist and we're mad. But you didn't get up. You didn't get outside. You didn't run for office to fix it. He can't fix anything at the local level. Stop that. He's the president of the United States. Your representatives are supposed to help you. You need to go to Hakeem Jeffries. You need to go to AOC. You need to go to Chuck Schumer. Shall I continue? You're upset with the wrong person. Stop that. All right. Let's continue.
The mayor, with the greatest respect, in every campaign speech, in every debate where you engage, we opened our ears to listen. Now today, accept the words echoing from us now. Do your job as mayor and leave our taxes out. Giving only two options. You're saying if we don't tax the rich, then I gotta increase property taxes. We are not a part of Southeast Queens. We are not part of your negotiation tactics. Because on Mamdani, you are out your goddamn mind. The mayor, with the greatest respect, in every campaign.
But every campaign speech, but everybody tried to tell you, do not take this poison. And you yelled at other people, you're a racist. We need better. Everybody tried to tell you. Tried to tell you, man. But you don't want to listen. You didn't care. But you care now. Because they're in your pocket. You care now. Okay? Now, I'm trying to find this particular video. We played that from her. This is the one. Chuck Schumer was for the SAVE Act before he was against it. So let's check this out.
Let's admit the truth. Everywhere people go, they're asked for a social security card. In fact, one way to prove you're a bona fide person who can have a job is to ask for a driver's license and a social security card. This is an anti-fraud amendment. All over where we go, people say, well, why can't you stop illegal immigrants or others from coming here. And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law because of fraud. Let's admit the truth. Everywhere people go,
So he was saying everything. He just look. He just opened up the whole. He spilled all the tea on the table and broke the cup. Okay, look. So the post says, "Make this go viral." President Trump just posted this on Truth. I guess he posted on Truth Social. In 1996, Chuck Schumer wanted IDs and Social Security cards to stop illegal immigrants away from voting. He said, Social Security number. He said, your ID. But he also gave away the tea, saying when people come here illegally to work, one more time. Let's dial it back.
they're asked for a Social Security card. In fact, one way to prove you're a bona fide person who can have a job is to ask for a driver's license and a Social Security card. This is an anti-fraud amendment. All over where we go, people say, well, why can't you stop illegal immigrants or others from coming here? And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law because of fraud.
They can come here and get work and get jobs and get benefits because of fraud. So, were you speaking into the future of all the fraud that was going to be committed by you and several members of the Democratic Party that actually champion the fraud? Because there's no such thing as parole in the United States. Y'all made that up. Temporary protected status is real. That is real. Asylum seekers, those are real. Refugees, those are real. Parole in the United States is not real because why would you need to be paroled if you didn't commit a crime? But oh yeah, you did commit a crime because you crossed over here illegally. No one can change immigration law but our Congress. That's not a law. It was written to executive order. All fraud. And he said it. That's how they get the jobs over here. And all the Democratic Party has done. And I'm not letting Republicans off the hook because some of y'all played the game too. You supported these companies that are paying these people under the table. So you were a party to it as well. Fraud. That's what it comes back to. So crazy. And hello, Fire Halo 0.5. Thank you. She says, hello from New York. I'm so sorry. Look, I'm praying for y'all. I know some other people in New York, and this is crazy. I also wanted to share this with you guys. This is a flashback to Biden doing this in front of the entire world. I don't know if you guys remember, they put together a montage of him just like, inappropriately touching young children on camera.
Right next to me. There you go. And then we're going to have. Got it. Okay. No, not smile. No, thank you. Hey, how old are you? You're 12, what you did? Don't worry. The problem is, you guys, you got a hard time.
Why are you stroking this child's hair? What?
You know what my dad used to say? Your granddaughter said,
Yeah, so all that happened, right? And then wanted to bring this post from Mr. Massey who does say the number of arrests. So the collusion hoax, no arrest. January 6th, no arrest. But technically there were arrests, but then they got pardoned. So that happened. Let's see. Biden auto pen, 0 arrest. 2020 election, 0 arrests. We're not going to get any arrests for the auto pen or the election. I think what the auto pen is going to be frowned upon, but it is going to be a technicality and challenge because they are going to be able to challenge certain things that were put in place. And if it is found out that it was auto pen, and if it is found out that the president at that time had no idea that those things were put in place, yeah, some of those things may be able to be overturned, right? And find out that there was fraud, and there will be people arrested under that, but that still needs to be investigated. Now, the Epstein files, there has been one pedophile arrested. I want to say he was in Sweden. He went down. Prince Andrew is implicated. We all know that he unfortunately abused one of the victims with Epstein, but they removed his crown, so he's no longer the prince. To that, he was arrested for technically espionage with Epstein and sharing files with him from the corporation. So they're still not going after him for pedophilia, even though he committed pedophilia. No, he did. It's documented on record. That's why he lost his crown. But, they're trying to make it look like, see, we're doing something. You're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. Okay. No one was arrested for COVID. No one was arrested for Benghazi. Doge findings. No one was arrested behind that. Ukraine impeachment hoax. No one was ever going to be arrested for that because that happened under Biden's vice presidency. So no one was ever really going to go to jail. And if he was going to go to jail, then you also have to implicate all of the senators that supported what he did while he was doing what he did. So there's that. It's weird. Y'all are going to come out here and talk about, well, yeah, this, that, and the other. I'm like, tell the whole truth. Tell the whole truth. Tell it all. Now, I had to share this with you guys. A 12-year-old boy speaks out at a school board meeting after hijabs, Qurans, and Shia law pamphlets were handed out to students during lunch, and it shouldn't be happening.
Good evening, members of the school board. My name is Leland Saunders, and I'm a 12-year-old resident of Farmersville, Texas. I understand that the outside organization was approved to be on campus. However, I'm concerned about the religious material that were handed out to students during the lunch period. The following materials were handed out: hijabs, Qurans, and Sharia law pamphlets. Public schools serve students from many different religious backgrounds, and students who have no religious beliefs at all. Because of that, I believe our schools must remain neutral when it comes to religious promotion during the school day. Even if participation was voluntary, handing out religious texts and items during school hours raises questions about whether that crosses the line from education and a religion. That is something many families, including mine, are uncomfortable with. If one religious organization is allowed to distribute materials, would every religious or ideological group be allowed to be given the same opportunity? If so, how will that be managed fairly? If not, how is that even equal treatment? This is not about criticizing any specific religion. This is about maintaining neutrality, fairness, and a religious boundary from education and religion. I respectfully ask the board to clarify the guidelines regarding outside groups and religious materials, and to ensure that policies are applied consistently moving forward. Thank you for your time.
Out of the mouths of babes. And hello, Fire Halo. I did check the law that you were talking about. I pulled it up on my phone. So apparently in 1996, the Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act, and I think part of this too was outside of this, they were talking about like they couldn't get welfare and all these other things. But what it did say is that they were imposing stiffer penalties for illegal entry, enhancing border security, and expanding deportation grounds. It introduced 3 and 10-year bars on re-entry for unlawful presence and expedited removal procedures. Interesting, because we've had people here illegally over 30 years. And I don't know how they're not getting deported. But I'm just saying, that's happening. Now they have border enforcement and security, authorized 1,000 new border patrol agents. Now this is under Clinton. Deportation and crimes expanded the definition of aggravated felonies, unlawful presence bars, mandated a 3-year bar, interior enforcement, enhanced measures against alien smuggling, welfare restrictions, right? I think that's the one that I always refer to as welfare restrictions. So the law, part of a larger omnibus bill, significantly altered the landscape of immigration enforcement in U.S. Okay, but here's the thing. It wasn't an omnibus bill. So it was giving people direction like this is going to happen. But Congress never changed the immigration law. See, there's a totally different thing. There's one thing, and the Trump administration is doing the same thing in the big, beautiful bill. They probably brought that up. That's why they're probably like, hey, we need to enforce some of these things that we already have on the books. But our Congress, House and Senate have not said, we are going to codify this into immigration law. It's in a bill. It's an act. It's enforceable. Don't get me wrong, but it's not codified in immigration law. So it never goes away. That's all I'm saying. Because see, these omnibus bills, they kind of come and go, right? You can reprise them, but they're not immigration law. And the only people that have the power to do that are our House and Senate. So if they're not fixing the actual problem, they are the problem. I hope that makes sense to everybody. So I know we're having this whole conversation and you're saying Sharia law is coming to your neighborhood. It's so sad. It's so, so sad. And thank you for sharing that with me. And so I could bring that up to the audience, because these are the things that we got to pray about. These are the things that we got to talk about, because y'all, look, it's crazy. And even Alex brought up this. So Trump sparks massive outrage within the MAGA base after signing an executive order giving total liability protection to producers of a poisonous Roundup. Now, it's called glyphosate. It is poisonous. Kennedy, I won't play the whole thing for you that Alex is talking about. But basically, Roundup is a cancerous agent. I'll have to pull up the executive order. I haven't pulled it up yet, but according to the executive order, it's for something to dealing with defense, but it still gives Roundup protection. So honestly, I think it'll be something that's revised, right? They'll have to go back through it and say, okay, for defense, we're here, but for the general public, for people, because it's already been found to harm people, you can't use it over here, if that makes sense. So I'm really hoping that they're able to dial that one back, because yeah, I don't eat certain things. Like I want to say there is allegedly there's a protein powder out there, and I think it's like something Fresh Gardens or something like that, or Garden Greens, and it's something you can get at places like Smoothie King and other places that make smoothies. Well, unfortunately, sorry guys, unfortunately, that chemical glyphosate, it's used in there. So you have to really start paying attention to a lot of your protein powders, a lot of the foods that you're eating, because it's snuck in there. But it does still say glyphosate, and a lot of people don't know what glyphosate is, and it's a cancerous chemical. So let the lawsuits begin. That's all I can say. Look, you sue everybody, okay? Sue everyone. Now, what I was looking for, because I had found it, and I don't know why I don't have it. Maybe it didn't happen. This is something I had to bring up too, as well. On the 18th in Marietta, there was a dead body found tied to a tree with a rope around their neck. Now, from what they have said about this particular incident, police are calling it a suicide. Um, but I think that's further. Okay, coffee break. That's further to an investigation because they really don't know if it was foul play or if it was this person taking their own life. So we'll see what happens with that. I'll make sure that I follow up. I'm trying to keep look. I'm trying to keep my little folders as best as possible. But I thought I had found this teacher that unfortunately passed away during a let me bring this down because that's distracting. Let's see. SBA. Okay, companies. Yeah, there was a teacher that got hit by a car. And they were at one of the student ICE protests. It's very crazy. I don't know if that was the one we saw in Florida. I thought that was a student. We'll see if I can find it. If I can't, maybe I can confirm that the one that I showed you. Okay. New video. Okay, I remembered those. Yeah, I remember that one. That was weeks ago. Okay, that was a student in West Palm Beach that got hit. Oh, okay. Well, maybe it was just the student. I really thought it was another teacher that got injured. But it's, it's keeping up with all of these things. I know usually Friday I try to bring out something happy, but my goodness. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to share with you guys. Apparently, Steven Spielberg, he actually sold his home in California and decided that he was going to move to New York. Now, he can move and live wherever he wants to. I just found it fascinating, mainly because Mr. Spielberg, he is of Jewish descent. And I'm like, like I said, I found it fascinating. I was just like, okay. And he's a very nice gentleman. He's very unassuming. I remember working on the Disney lot and I saw him and I was, you kind of look at somebody and you're like, you look different. I was like, oh, that's Steven Spielberg. He is so unassuming. I mean, he looked like a homeless person. I was just like, what? He doesn't walk. And what I'm saying is he does his job. He does his work. And when he's working and when he's in work mode, he is not red carpet ready. Let me see. He's not even business casual ready. Like he had on some rough jeans. And then when I started, working on sets and background, I was like, okay, I can see why you're not like totally dressed up and looking great, and to his credit, he was actually working on something with Disney at the time. Oh, I'm glad you got your coffee and you're back. So let me share this. So apparently when you've gone so far left, you lose Steven. I'm not going to say that Spielberg. Maybe it's time to dial it back a bit. So Steven Spielberg, he moved from California amid proposed billionaire wealth tax debate. But he's in New York now. So he sold he sold his house in California to move to New York. I don't know if it was bad to worse or you just like, are you a masochist? Like, I don't know. Because that's what you... Okay. But that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. And there's, you are free to be you and be as crazy as you want to be. I'm just saying. I have respect for people that live their lives out in the open, right? But we need to pray for Stephen because, to move from California to New York it's a jump, right? Weather's obviously different, but the climate, it's the political climate that concerns me for him. So, just praying for him and his family. That all goes well. Okay. So this last article we're going to jump into, and then we're going to get on up the boulevard. So a leaked email from Bill Gates to Jeffrey Epstein preparing for pandemics. What? So in the email, it says, let's discuss next steps. For example, how to officially involve the WHO and CDC. I hope we can pull this off. Let's get into it, right? And let's see what's going on. So apparently this is in the Epstein files, right? And the email is dated March 20th of 2015. And he's forwarding this to someone. So someone, I guess, forwarded it to him. Preparing for pandemics, right? He's got the attachment. I'll have to look and see if we can find that attachment. Geneva. Yes, because there is a Geneva Code under the military, and there are certain things you can and cannot do when you are engaged in war. And one of those are bioweapons. They're frowned upon. They're not supposed to be used. However, we know that they have been using them for decades. They use them in ways that looks like, oh, it's an environmental thing. Yeah, they usually try to blame the environment. That's where we get all this climate change stuff from. So it's no surprise that we're here. Oh, and Hello says, I lived in Northern California for 10 years, back in New York, 7 now. Both suck. Look, because New York it's such an interesting place. I can't do the weather. I'm a California girl. I grew up in California. My mom moved us from Indiana to California. I live in Georgia now because I like warm weather. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do it. I'm a punk. I admit it. Look, I was in DC past couple of days, had another coat so heavy it's like wearing another human being. Okay, like, I can't do coats. I just can't. So here's what the email says. Now the March 19 email, I guess, is the email that was forwarded to Epstein on the 20th. So here's the email chain, and the subject is preparing for pandemics. That's the subject. Please find attached a draft agenda for the meeting on preparing for pandemics as requested. So he requested this, right? So he knew something was going on. Let's discuss next steps. For example, how to officially involve the WHO and that says ICRC co-branding. So I'll have to look up the co-branding thing because that doesn't say the CDC. That says the ICRC. Best regards. I hope we can pull this off. It's that part. What do you mean you hope you can pull what off? What are y'all doing? So I'll be doing some digging into this and finding out what's in this Geneva meeting. So they may have been meeting in Geneva, but like I said, when I saw the word Geneva, it just made me think about the Geneva Code. And maybe we need to bring up the Geneva Code that the military and the rest of the world is supposed to abide by when they are dealing with any conflicts within each other. Yeah, there are rules of engagement for war. There are, according to the Geneva Code. And maybe there's been some updates and changes, and we can look at that together. So before we get out of here, we're going to say our prayer going into the weekend, just praying for cover and Thanksgiving. So God, thank you so much for bringing us through the week. Just praying for cover and Thanksgiving going into this weekend. God, there's so much going on. They've got our children in school and encouraging them to make posters of Moloch, Father. Deity that you told people to not worship to, be not to feed their children to and worship and sacrifice their children. Specifically, God, we know that the evil in this world seems great, but you are greater, Father. We know that we can rely on you to help get us through this. God, I'm just praying, Father, for cover going into the weekend, that you keep us safe travels for everyone that's out there, and also make sure that you keep President Trump safe. He's traveling back and forth, and his staff, God, and just the people of Washington, Father. We're just praying for their hearts, praying for their focus. the members of the House, the members of the Senate. God, we are praying for them, that they will stay focused on what's right for the American people, that they will stop focusing on party, but they will start focusing on actually serving the people of this nation that you've brought here. Even with all of the evil trying to destroy this country, I know there is some good. I know that you can turn this around. We just need to trust you, and we need to do the work, God. So I pray all these things in your son's precious name. Amen. So again, guys, thank you so much for joining me here on Unfiltered Vision News. And we will see you back on Monday. As far as I know, I'm not traveling. I'll be here. I will be here at the desk. So again, thank you so much for just being as supportive as you have been as an audience. And remember, stay well, stay focused, and stay unfiltered. We'll see you in the next one.